least if they see us.
Say that again.
So at least if they can see us and they know we're here.
Yeah, they know,
Yeah.
right. So you live on World One Development? That's not World One Development out there. Is that World One Development?
Yeah.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
And these mics back.
We don't have no sound.
Y'all don't have no sound?
We live.
Nobody's getting nothing.
No, I don't.
We
hear
just
that.
haven't started talking.
Yeah.
So we.
Welcome to the show that talks about Tulsa. People making a difference in the Tulsa community. Special guest interviews spotlighting local businesses to covering important issues within the community no one else is talking about. The hot topics and more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use with your hosts, Mr. Charles Harper and Miss Damali Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to World One Development's News You Can Use. We want to thank everyone for either listening on the radio, watching us on Facebook Live, and on www.KBOB899.com, or tuning into any of the News You Can Use media networks, which are powered by World One Development. We really appreciate that. I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss Damali Wilson.
And I'm Charles Harper. It's Wednesday, a.k.a. Hump Day, June 18th, 2025. And we are live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the News You Can Use media network, powered by World One Development. We are set for an exciting show, you guys. You better call your mom and them and tell them you can dial in at 918-856-3873 or post your comments on our Facebook Live feed at World One Development.
So on today's show, it's part 2 of relationships. What women really are thinking and what men are really thinking.
Yep. Personal and professional relationships between males and females. We'll get our guest's opinion as well as your thoughts.
And of course, our Hump Day hot topic, which is Mayor Nichols plans to curtail downhall disturbances by youth. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit. Our birthdays and more.
This is News You Can Use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the News You Can Use media network, powered by World One Development. We'll be right back, y'all. We're going to take a quick break.
This is KBOB 89.9 FM, Tulsa. And now streaming 24/7 live from the Eden Media Studio. 24/7 live at KBOB899.com.
Sponsor or volunteer for any of our programs at EduRec.
The Juice Radio Show and KBOB 89.9 would like to say thank you to all of our listeners and sponsors who donate to help keep our media program alive, reaching the community. The Juice Radio Network continues to expand as influencers in the community of North Tulsa and beyond, but can't do that without your help. That's why it's important that we as a community continue to support the Juice Radio Show and keep 89.9 on the air. The community not only deserves this service, but needs this service. Let's continue to support the mission and giving a voice to the voiceless and donate to the Juice Radio Radio Show. The Juice Radio Show is a nonprofit 501c3 powered by KBOB 89.9 and Eden Media Services, operating solely off the gifts, donations, and contributions made by listeners like yourself. All donations made to the Juice Radio Show are tax deductible and can be sent to 1216 North Lansing Avenue, Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74106.
It's Tulsa, Tulsa. I see you here in Tulsa. I'm in Tulsa chilling.
We appreciate your continued support and thanks for listening to KBOB 89.9 FM. Sound familiar? Well, guess what? Sounds like you need the Last Stop Shop. The only name you need to know. The Last Stop Shop. Tulsa area's #1 mobile mechanic service. And they come to you. They get you running or stopping again. From brakes to starters, alternators, generators, RV, even welding repair. They also do mobile fleet maintenance and mobile oil changes. Like I told you, this will be the last stop you ever make. Call the Last Stop Shop. Tulsa area's #1 mobile mechanic service at 918-405-3970. That's 918-405-3970, and they'll have you back up and running in no time. Mention you heard this ad on KBOB 89.9 and receive 10% off your first service. Who you gonna call? The Last Stop Shop. Tulsa area's #1 mobile mechanic service. That number again is 918-405-3970.
This is news you can use right here on KBOB 89.9 FM and simulcast on the News You Can Use Media Network, powered by World One Development.
And we are back. So News You Can Use is all about shedding some light on the positive happenings in our community. There are many great businesses and programs and events occurring in our neighborhood, and we felt the community needed to hear about those things, one, so we can support, and two, so we can be informed.
What's going on, family? I'm Charles Harper, Chief Executive Officer of World One Development, which includes Fitting Back In, Edurect Youth and Family Fun Center, 36th Street North Event Center, and NYCU.FM. My job, because the world wants to know, is to provide leadership for all aspects of World One Development with an emphasis on long-term goals, growth, profits, and a return on that investment. I am so excited and I am so elated to be one of the creators of this phenomenal show.
And I'm Damali Wilson, Chief Operating Officer for World One Development. And my job is designing and implementing business operations and establishing policies that promote company culture and vision. I am also in charge of social media for all of the World One Development entities. If you would like to advertise your business or organization on this show or any of our other individual platforms, please inbox me your contact information on Facebook Messenger so we can talk. I am also happy and elated to be one of the creators of this phenomenal show.
Molly, what's up on this Humpty Day?
Man, it is hot outside. I'm over
it. You know what? When it gets that hot outside, it takes a minute just to get your body together.
Boy.
You know what I mean?
Man, I'm like, I can't even breathe.
You know, be in your car with your air on and you're still sweating hard. You know what I'm talking about? People want to take
It's
all
so
these pictures
sad.
and selfies. You just
It's
be like,
don't touch me.
But do you prefer the heat or cold?
Actually, I think I prefer the cold a little bit more because I can put on more stuff.
And warm
when
up
you
a
hot,
bit.
you just hot.
Well, when you hot, you just
you
hot.
can take off what you want to take off, but you still just hot.
Is it a myth that black people get angry when it's hot?
I do.
That's
I can't
true.
speak for
That's
the
not a
rest of the
myth.
tribe,
That's
but I
facts.
do.
So when it get hot,
Yeah, don't
what
talk.
you saying? Give you bag up 50
just,
feet,
hey.
bag up 50 feet.
No talking.
Now, if it's hot, y'all come around, but just bring a cold bottle of water with you. You know what I'm talking about?
Popsicles, banana
bottled water,
popsicles. If you got a banana popsicle, we can talk. We cool.
We still be friends. Find
Yes.
a way to cool down. Let me tell you something, Damali. It is just so much good vibes and energy in Tulsa right now. It is so much going on. It's kind of like we finally decided, you know what, we're going to get in our box. We're going to get in our bag and we're going to start making some things happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people are out
Absolutely.
and about it. Every time I ride, people roll down their little windows out here, lean with it, rock with it, lean with it. I
It's
just get with them.
summertime.
It's summertime. So
For-
people
for sure.
are officially outside.
They outside.
People outside right now.
So you know what? We want to give a huge congratulations to LaShawn and Terrell Ellison of EIG Builders. On last week, they had their Toast to Legacy event.
I love it.
I was like, okay, y'all did this. I mean, it was people parked everywhere. The champagne bottles was popping all over the place. It was a really, really good time. Great vibes. You know, I'm so proud of them. If you don't know who LaShawn and Terrell Ellison are, they are Black builders
Right.
here in North Tulsa. And when I tell you that they building some stuff,
They be handling the
Hey,
business.
is top notch.
Right.
Black excellence. So shout out to them. You guys are doing an amazing job. We are so excited that you are in our community. Sometimes it takes transplants from other places to get us started.
To get stuff kicking. It happens because sometimes you can't see the jury and you can't see all the diamonds in your own community. It takes somebody else start picking it up and you be like, oh, hold on, wait for me. But what I do love about what they did before we switch gears is they had us imagine, what if 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre never happened? How would we have been living?
Yes.
What would you have seen and all of that? So if you missed this one, don't miss the next one, because it was a beautiful thing to see. Just imagine if the massacre never happened and they put on that show. A lot of people came out and it was really, really good. So shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Want to give a huge congratulations and shout out to Charles Harper.
Oh, hold on. Stop right there. Stop right. No, I'm just playing.
My co-host, Cody Ransom, Pastor Tim Newton, Dr. Dwayne Dickens, Commissioner Phil Armstrong, Bobby Eaton Sr., Hank Bird, and Dwayne Gardner on receiving the Ancestors Echo Award from our special guest, who we're going to talk to in a minute, Dr. Tamika Rogers, and the Keeping It Real Truth to Screen Youth Camp. You guys did that. I love that Dr. Tamika took the time to recognize Black men. There are a lot of Black men in our community that are doing great things, and so we're not all a statistic. We're not all a number. So to be able to recognize you guys, that was an awesome time. And I love the fact, don't get it twisted, the directors rolled up in style.
They sure did, didn't they?
With their little H2 Hummer, stretch limo, and they suits. Hey, they was ready.
I'll be honest, when that limousine pulled up and it was white and that door open, they do the video to say on me. I ain't gonna lie. I said, I better not see this brown Tim boot come out. I was already like, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, but they got out with that same kind of energy.
Did.
It was good. And I'll say a lot of times Father's Day is at the bottom of the list.
Yes.
And I feel like something like that made you feel like Father's Day was on the front of the list.
Yes.
Because we still on the heel of that. So shout out to our sister, and everything she do is with excellence. It's always high class. And you see how she got out.
Okay.
I couldn't even see her.
That's my sister. That's what I'm saying.
So I just kept reaching. I finally caught her. Yeah. The diamonds was on. The hair was laid. The makeup was laid. So hey,
of course,
representing all the way around.
Yes, I love
it. Shout out to all the brothers that received their awards. It was great, man. Everybody gave some inspirational words.
Absolutely.
We hung out with those young men to actually pour into them, and they poured into us too. So it was good vibes all the way around.
And the documentary was amazing. If you guys have not seen it, the documentary was awesome. So we have some clips from the event. There are a lot of pictures out there. I have most of the speech. I think Pastor Tim was the only one I didn't get his speech for some reason. But everybody else, we kind of got their acceptance speech and everything. So go out there and look at that. It's on World One Development, our Facebook page. And I'm telling you, it's really amazing. So it was really a good time.
Let me tell you something.
What?
Oklahoma City Thunder are the champs.
You better say
that. NBA. Come on now. Say that with
you better say that.
You know what I mean? Hey.
What did I say?
You said it.
I said it from day one. I'm rolling with my Thunder until the end. Guess what? The end, we the champs.
We the champs.
Yes,
the champs are
we
here.
are the champs.
Hey, we don't just say I'm from Oklahoma. Say I'm from Oklahoma City, home of the champs.
Right.
When you said so, that has elevated Oklahoma 10 more levels up. Shout out to Shay and his crew.
Yes.
They put it on. I must admit, I'm still sweating from all them games.
Man.
Still nervous. My voice not even back yet.
Baby.
I'm still on my medication.
Right.
I'm still on my breathing treatment.
Because that anxiety got real.
They took the Oklahoma City fans down through that.
Man. We went through all the emotions.
But at the end of the day, it's worth going through something.
Yeah.
If you get to the goal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's worth going through it.
Our very first championship right here in Oklahoma. I am so excited for them. Excited for our state. Because now to me, I feel like we are official. Yeah. We've been in the NBA, but it's like we just been here, know, but now we're official.
Right.
We've made our mark. And so we are here and, we are forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah. So what it means as we get into the off season, to be the champs, you got to beat the champs. To beat the champs, you got to come see us. And you're going to have to come see all of us because everybody got their Thunder gear on now. We'll meet you over at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City.
Yes.
Shout out to the Thunder, y'all.
Shout out. So now we're going to switch gears just a little bit. Juneteenth happened.
Juneteenth, man.
So I want to give, though, a huge shout out to our bingo winners.
Oh, yeah, you want to do that first.
because they won tickets to be in the VIP section
Right.
at Juneteenth. Each and
Yeah.
every one of them showed up
Boy,
and
they showed
had
up.
a black. You couldn't tell them nothing.
They had it going on.
They had their own chairs. They had food. They were in the air conditioned tent. Baby, they thought they was presidential.
Just like
Couldn't
that.
tell them nothing.
So you too, remember, at the 36th Street North Event Center on the first and the third Tuesday of every month, we do bingo.
That's right.
Cash prizes and VIP tickets to all kind of stuff. So make sure you pull up.
You never know
shout out
what
to them.
tickets are
You
out
never
there.
know.
You never know. So now we got to get off into this just a little bit. So you guys know that Charles and I hosted on Saturday.
Right.
We absolutely had a blast. DJ AOA.
Oh, yeah, he's real deal.
If you don't know about DJ AOA, you better ask somebody.
Yeah,
I got a little short clip on my social media page, and if you see him and Dr. View, you be like, oh, yeah, that's the DJ I need right there. But they did a phenomenal job. So did Duke and T Rush. They hosted on Friday night. Great vibes. We had Braylon Dedman, who was a saxophonist, did a phenomenal job. Of course, you already know that our headliners did an amazing job. But unfortunately, before our final headliner, Lakeside, could actually finish their show, some things took place, and there was a shooting that happened. And it's just like right now, it's just still so unreal to me that this actually took place on the hallowed ground, where so much devastation has already taken place. But I want to say this. I think it for me, despite the situation, I felt honored to be able to make sure that folks were safe, folks were informed. Folks, that was a very hard job.
Yeah.
Because my daughter was out there on the strip. She had a booth right where the shooting took place. And so I'm like, I don't know where she's at. We call in, trying to make sure, found out she was okay. But still, as a mom, you go into protective mode. But then I still felt responsible for all of the folks who came to that concert to have a good time, who we really didn't even know what was really going on at first, because we're kind of like isolated, So I just want to say, for all of the families who lost someone, for all of the families who were, affected because someone was injured, we are praying for you. We are sticking together as a community. This is a citywide problem. This is a nationwide problem, actually. And so this is something that we all need to be working together to solve. It is not the time to sit here and point fingers. The Juneteenth committee should have did this and they should have did that. No, this is all of our problem. As parents, as community members, as the kids that were out there, it's all of our problem. We should be concerned about our neighbors. We should be concerned that 80-year-old grandparents should not be getting shot at an event. You know what I'm saying? We should all be concerned. So we should be praying right now. We should be attending. There are a lot of things, and we're going to talk about at the end, upcoming events. We're going to tell you about some avenues that you can take, and some opportunities where you can go and try to help with this issue, help our city leaders, but this is a time for us all to stand up. And us all to figure out where our part is and to operate in our zone of genius to help solve this issue. It is not time for finger pointing.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out to Lauren.
Yes.
Corbett Evans for putting that on. And a lot of times when something like this happens, it makes me think about it takes a year to put on Juneteenth. You raising so much money, you flying people in, y'all seeing all the trailers out there. You got this immaculate stage, you got sound people, you paying thousands and all that. And I know sometime in life gets hard.
Yes.
So you might be young and you may not consider that, but that's a lot of sacrifice. Miss Val, who's normally on the stage, back behind the scenes doing all that work, and T Rush and the whole board. And the thing I want to shout them out so much for is because even when it got crazy, nobody from the Juneteenth committee, they didn't flinch. They was thinking about all the people. And I thought that was huge. I'm talking about in that season, people, younger people and all of that. they hung right there in the box and letting us know what was what. So, and I want to shout out our local officials.
Exactly.
Because our councilwoman was like, what's going on? I'm making sure everybody is cool. Senator Regina Goodwin was doing the same. Ron Stewart was doing the same. So I was thinking, man, we got some strong community leaders. And they were like the last ones to leave, despite not knowing what's what. Because when bullets go flying, they don't have no name on it. So Damali could be gone. I could be gone. Anybody that participated could have been gone. But I just want to appreciate our leadership and for those leaders for hanging in there. And the ticket is we're going to have Juneteenth next year. Because what you got to remember, on the grounds where we was kicking it, it was no problem right here. So it was like two different things.
Yeah.
So I do want people to understand that right there on the line, man, I was doing a video right before that happened. And then unfortunately, you had an isolated incident. And then you got to remember, it didn't just happen here. It happened in Oklahoma City too.
Right.
And some other. So like Damali said, and I won't rehash that, it's a symptom, so we got to kind of see what's going on with that youth. And if nothing else, a day when we're supposed to be unifying, a day of liberation, a day that we celebrate, a day when we have a safe space, we got to make sure our kids understand that this is a safe space. When you ain't got nowhere to go, Juneteenth is a place to go to be loved on. Hey, for goodness grace, it was called family reunion.
Yes.
So that means maybe somebody didn't understand what a family reunion is. That means even if I am a gangster, I put my guns down for the family reunion.
That's right.
Because grandma and papa and my nieces and my nephews and the babies and the cousins are there. So we got to make sure, if nothing else, even when you're young, we got to make sure our young people understand that.
You know what? And another shout out that I would like to give is there were a couple of babies who were lost. They were separated from their parents or whoever they came with. And we had a bunch of aunties.
Boy, them aunties
showed up, baby. And they was entertaining the kids with their phones and all of that. So thank you to all of them who helped us, reunite those babies to, the folks that they came with, some of them to their parents, some were to grandparents. But, in the melee and all that was going on, everybody stood strong and we held together and stayed together as a community. So let's just continue that and keep that moving forward.
Yeah, I got to shout y'all out because y'all, especially with all them aunties, they was right in the middle. Where them fans at?
Yeah.
It's a baby loss.
Hold on.
And all the fans went down.
Yeah.
I said,
yeah,
we're going to make sure that's done. So anyway,
yes.
Tulsa, this is us. Like I said, right before that, we champions.
Yeah.
And how we are champions on the NBA court, we're going to be champions in our community too.
That's right.
So just hold on. If you don't believe it, just watch. Because we got this.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yes.
All
right, y'all. So we're going to hit our Black History trivia question.
Get your thinking cap on.
Black history. And this is one that I didn't know. So this is actually kind of a good one. Okay. Black History trivia. Y'all ready?
I think I am.
What Southern all-black town was formed in 1887 by former slave Isaiah Montgomery, which is on the National Register of Historic Places, and in 2020 had 96.8 African American majority population? Was it A, Mounds Bayou, Mississippi? Was it B, Princeville, North Carolina? Was it C, Boley, Oklahoma? Or was it D, Allensworth, California?
You ain't gonna drop that on me just like that, Damali. You're not gonna do it. Not on this Sunday. You gotta read that one more time, and I'm gonna be ready for my answer. Now, y'all be thinking about your answer too. Let's put it in there. Come on, I'm listening.
What Southern all-black town was formed in 1887 by a former slave, Isaiah Montgomery? This town is on the National Register of Historic Places, and in 2020 had a 96.8 African American majority population. Was it A, Mounds Bayou, Mississippi? Was it B, Princeville, North Carolina? Was it C, Boley, Oklahoma? Or was it D, Allensworth, California?
I think the people on the live are Googling, Damali. I don't see no answers yet. Now, Damali done read this 2-3 times, and my people that's supposed to be looking out for me have not answered the call. I'm going to give some shout outs. Because I'm gonna go with my answer. I got my answer, but I got to get some people on the live to join in with me on this, because that's a deep question. So I'm gonna do some quick shout outs. We got a whole lot of secret listeners in the building.
Hey y'all.
Shout out to y'all. The secret listeners are here. I know they want to hear about the relationship stuff, and we're gonna get to that later. But I'm gonna say Teresa Elliott, my sister, your sister, is in with a bunch of secret listeners. Mr. AJ with the Afro.
Mr. Energizer. He was here this weekend. Thank you for coming up.
Here. You and Miss Queen Linda was here. Thanks for coming down. Miss Ernestine Broom.
Hey, Miss
Broom.
She's
in here. She said, good evening. I am watching and praying for your health and strength to continue. Love you. Well, we
Thank
love
you.
you
We
too.
love you too.
Yoli is on.
Hey, Jolie, what's happening, sis?
Yoli.
Yoli. Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
it said
yeah.
Jolie.
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah, just
Okay,
like that.
I'm
Yoli.
sorry.
What's
Yoli.
up, Yoli? Don't do it like that. John is on.
Hey, John.
Elvis Stewart from Little Rock is in the building.
Hey, Elvis.
Kimberly Marsh is on
Hey,
the
Kimberly.
building. Tamara Anderson from the ATL, my
Hey,
classmate.
Tamara.
What's up, classmate? Kimberly Marsha McLeod is in here.
Okay.
We got a lot of secret pieces on here. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna come back to the live. I promise.
I see
Ernest Lynch is on here. Back in the day.
Missionary Church is saying that they're praying for us from Fort Worth, Texas. Thank you for that. We appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate that. It means a lot. Dr. Mario Choice.
What's up, Mario?
From Fort Worth, Texas, in the building. Judge Tanya Wilson.
What's
She's in
up?
here with us as well, and many others. I'm gonna come back to the live. But now we got some answers coming in. That's what I was waiting on.
Okay. So we got some answers.
We got some answers coming in. So, Mr. AJ Johnson, Mr. Energizer from the J-Bone Lounge said A.
A for AJ. Okay.
Judge Tanya Wilson said A.
Okay.
Your mama, my mama said C.
Hey, mommy.
Teresa said A.
All right. Okay. And who else? Anybody else? Y'all act like y'all scared to answer the question.
Got to see. And my answer is A. I'm between two. Ooh.
Okay, so Charles is A. Tyson says A. C. All right. Y'all can still continue to put your answers in.
Yeah, keep putting them in. We're going to take a real quick break because we got two superstar special guests live in studio. They didn't send a representative. They sent themselves.
Okay.
And showed up with themselves live in studio. And we finna get down to some good stuff for part 2, relationships, what men think, what women think. And I want to know. Inquiry minds want to know. You want to know.
Right.
So we're going to take a break. I see you, Lori Campbell, cousin.
What's
Welcome
up,
to the
cousin?
show. This KBOB 89.9 FM news. You can use Charles and Damali coming up next. Relationships, men and women. We're going to talk about it, y'all.
Looking to take your event to the next level with professionalism and energy? Contact World One Development. We host events, have radio personalities, offer community engagement and videography. We also do live radio remotes, red carpet appearances, create promos, event recaps, drops, and flyers. We also create customized advertising packets to promote your business, organization, or program. Visit our website at world1development.com. You can also reach us on social media at World One Development.
Oh, yes, it's bingo night.
Bingo!
And the money right.
Bingo!
It's bingo night. Oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night.
Every first and third Tuesday, starting February 4th, it's bingo night at 36th Street North Event Center.
Bingo night.
Bingo nights at 36th Street North Event Center. Every first and third Tuesday, with lots of cash and prizes to be given away. Doors will open at 6 p.m. and sessions start at 7 and 8 p.m. Game packs starting at only $25. And you could win big. 36th Street North Event Center, 1125 East 36th Street North. Bingo nights. So grab your auntie and uncles and enjoy bingo nights at the 36th Street North Event Center. Concessions and refreshments will be available. And bingo nights at 36th Street North can be enjoyed in a smoke-free environment. Bingo night every first and third Tuesday starting February 4th at 36th Street North Event Center. For more information, call 918-200-9046. Bingo Nights is presented by the 36th Street North Event Center and NYCU.FM. Cash and prizes are based on minimum attendance requirements.
The 36th Street North Event Center is proud to kick off another great season of social gatherings with family and friends. And no matter what the size of your next event, the 36th Street North Event Center has you covered. From event decor to live DJs, even catering, and a world-class sound and lighting system, 36th Street North has your event covered. We offer a state-of-the-art event booking and planning process from start to finish. And whether you're hosting 100 or 1,000, 36th Street North Event Center is the premier event center of North Tulsa, located at 1125 East 36th Street North. Share the experience at 36th Street North Event Center and see why we are the #1 choice for upscale events. From weddings to birthdays, corporate functions, holiday parties, and so much more. Visit us today at 36theventcenter.com or call and reserve your spot at 918-200-9046.
KBOB 89.9 FM, World One Development News. You can use Charles and Damali, and we are back.
We are back. So today we're talking, this is part 2 of relationship. This is a topic that we have avoided since we started doing radio. People are like, you guys should talk about that. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. But then now after we had this conversation last week, then it's like, maybe we should do a segment, you know? So we're going to give a huge shout out to Rodney Rue Tisdale and Jolie Perdue for coming on the show on last week to help us kick off this topic of what men think, what women think. So today we have 2 special guests in studio. We have entrepreneur Mr. Tyson Thompson, who is in studio with us. And then we also have Dr. Tamika Rogers in studio with us as well, that are going to help us unravel this topic.
Did you say unravel?
Unravel this topic of what men think, what women think. So go ahead.
You go ahead. So what I want to do is, both of them do a lot. So I want to make sure you can't hear yet. Make sure your stuff is plugged in, like your connector.
Yeah, it's plugged in.
And I'll keep just talking just a little bit.
Having a little bit of technical difficulty.
A little bit.
All right, Yoli, I see you. You said you're not sure, but you're going to go with North Carolina on the Black History Trivia question. What letter was that? I think
go back to see what that was.
That might see. That might be North Carolina. So that's B. Got you, Yoli. We'll put you down.
All right, back to the lecture at hand. You know what? These 2 special guests we have, one, they are loaded with knowledge and wisdom, but it's so many people on. We got a couple thousand people on the live, of course, on KBOB, on YouTube, and all of that. So I just want to pause for a moment so Tyson can tell people just a snippet about just who is he first. Where you from? Where your people from? Where you went to school? Any of that.
Memorial 92, Gilcrease Thunderbirds.
Gilcrease Thunderbirds.
Come on, grew up in Turley, 108 West 62nd Street North.
Man, come on.
This is home. I love Tulsa, and I'm a barber. Been 38 years, and I'm gonna share a lot that I've learned over the years from people. What women have told me, and what men have told me about relationships. You know, I have my own thoughts and opinions, and ideas about it, but I'm gonna share with you what the community actually says and believes, and like what men really think about women. You know what they tell me, and then what women really say about us, and what they really think and what they feel. Because they, you know, in the barbershop, they sometimes we open up a little
talk.
More.
We got 38 years of barber
shop
talk. Dr. Tamika Rogers, tell the people a snippet because you do a lot of good stuff, but tell them who you are and what you do.
Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Tamika Rogers, the history maker and barrier breaker. I am owner of Inspired Expressions Media. I do a Keeping It Real Script to Screen Camp, best-selling author, and award-winning filmmaker.
Yes.
Come on.
So see, y'all thought we were just gonna get, you know, like give y'all our opinions and what we think, but we're bringing some heavyweights up in here to weigh in on this conversation. Okay, so I'm gonna give you just a little bit from what we did last week. Okay. So this is some misperceptions that we talked about.
Some misperceptions.
Misperceptions. Okay. So what misperception that Black men think about Black women? That Black women are angry. We're too strong. That we're hypersexualized. That we're unprofessional. Welfare queens, less competent or worthy for equal pay. Okay, that was what men think. Misperceptions, right?
Okay.
This is the women's side. Black men are dangerous or criminal. Black men are absent fathers, emotionless, hyper masculine or oversexed, unintelligent or uneducated, natural athletes but not leaders, and always resilient, never needs help.
Okay.
Now, last week, Jolie said, I don't know who came up with that list because I hate all of them. So those are some of the things that we talked about on last week. And then we also talked about like deal breakers and stuff like that. But this week, we're going to kind of go a little different. We're going to do a little different route. So I found another, you know, I always find something for us to start on.
Just
and then,
something
of course,
to kick it off. To start
opinions.
something.
Right. So here we go. We're going to go with the top 5 behaviors women commonly consider inappropriate.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, between a male and female coworkers. So we're going to, narrow it down even more. Number 1, flirting or sexual comments,
Mhm.
overly personal conversations,
Mhm.
unnecessary physical contact,
Mm.
private or after hours one-on-ones, and undermining or talking down, especially in gendered ways.
Mhm.
So that's the top 5 that women
Mhm.
said. The top 5 that men often consider inappropriate between male and females. Number 1, flirting or over familiar behavior in the workplace.
Mhm.
One-sided accusations or double standards. 3 is emotional oversharing or manipulative use of vulnerability.
Mhm.
Mhm.
4, using gender to gain favor. And then 5, disrespecting authority or undermining leadership.
That's
Mm.
good.
Girl,
Okay.
you know.
All right. So that's men, that's women.
Mhm.
So Tamika, we're going to go with you first. What do you think
Okay.
about the list? The
Well-
lists with an S.
Well, both of the lists sounds like it's a little bit stereotypical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we can get all caught in, different stereotypes, and then we just go with it.
Right.
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 Not necessarily that it's true,
Mhm.
but we just go with it.
Mhm.
I could see both points from both perspectives.
Right.
Especially with I've seen a lot of times where people manipulate you in the workplace by crying.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. Yes. Yes.
It drives me crazy.
Insane.
You better go home with those tears.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Get up out of here.
Right. No. You did what you did, and you meant it.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
said
You
what I
did it.
said.
Yeah,
And I
said
meant
what
it.
I said. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. You did what you did.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Uh-huh.
And you're only crying because you called out on it.
That's right.
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 That's right.
Otherwise,
Mhm.
It wouldn't be a
you
problem.
would keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I can't stand manipulative behavior,
Mm-hmm.
whether it comes from a woman or a man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Don't
That's good.
manipulate.
Right. That's good stuff.
Because I don't have tissue in my office for a reason. I'm not gonna give you a tissue. I'm just gonna look at you till
Right.
you finish crying.
Right. Like, are you done?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you finished?
Right. Because
Yeah.
we adults here, we big kids, right?
Right.
Right.
What
Don't,
are we doing?
Don't come with the crying.
Yeah. So Tyson, what do you think about the list?
Well, it was interesting. As far as the men
Mhm.
part, I can see where men really don't like the double standard.
Mhm.
Oh, you can wear something that's very revealing and you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like, that's a little tight. I can feel when my drawers are up my butt, right? So you can tell when your stuff is a little tight, right? And you come to work like it's a camel toe convention.
Right.
Excuse my French. But yet you don't want the attention, or you make comments, or you brush on
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
And then, but when you come correct, or
Yeah.
you maybe respond, it's taken differently.
Yes.
But the reality is that it's a professional environment.
Right.
So we have a rule in our barbershop: no fraternizing.
Mhm.
You know, but I had one
Right.
guy say, "Look, I'm gonna be honest. I
Yeah.
hear your rule,
Right.
but if some come knocking on my door,
Yeah.
I said, I'm not. I don't think
Yeah.
I'll turn it down as my collar.
Right.
So, because you're real people.
Right.
So,
Right.
but the reality is that a lot of people really do manipulate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And my buddy Chris, he says people's, their intentions, they're contrived.
Right.
Mhm.
So
Right.
in the workplace, just keep it professional.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
So-
don't
so-
play
And if they
games.
come dressed
Yeah.
like that, because you said
Mhm.
they don't want the attention, but if they come like it's a camel toe convention, as
Right.
you would say,
Right.
they do want the attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing.
But
Yeah.
still be smart,
Yeah.
men. Be
Right.
smart. You're
Right.
at work, right?
No
You're
follow-up.
there to provide, income for your family and the work,
Right.
and there's an
Mhm.
exchange. So
Right.
when stuff goes down, right, and the stuff hit the fan,
Right.
look, just be above board.
Right. Right.
Just do your part.
So let me ask you this. Okay. So we've heard the list.
Right.
And we all agree it's stereotypical.
Mhm.
So Dr. Tamika, give me your 5 inappropriate behaviors between men and women that are
Man.
co-workers.
And
And if you don't have 5, give us 3.
Yeah.
Just the 3.
Inappropriate behavior, I would say, is the meeting after the meeting.
The meeting after the meeting. Ooh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate because everybody needs to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say, in general, having relationships
Mm-hmm.
at work for me is a no-go.
Mm-hmm.
Just period. Because you go to work and you have your home life that can mix and
Mhm.
bleed in.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those that's married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
talk
that's
about
another
that
one.
right there.
Let me touch on
You know what I mean?
that.
Yeah.
They married and then have a whole relationship with somebody at work then wives get involved, letters get sent. It's just insane, right?
Right.
So, I mean, the married people is acting more single than the single people.
Oh, okay.
That's
What
the
do you
problem.
think? So let me ask you this.
That's three.
Let me
Hold
see.
on.
Hold on. But I want to ask you this because it ties into that. What do you think about people who consider like I have a work wife or a work
that's
husband?
wrong.
exactly
That's
right.
wrong.
Okay.
Don't even
That's
do
wrong.
that. Don't
Yeah.
even play like that. That means y'all too close.
Ah.
That y'all too close.
Mhm.
And even to say that title, you're cheating.
Yeah.
When that
That's
comes
gonna
out,
be my next.
cheating.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
cheating. And even if you haven't done anything physical, that the mind thing is a whole different. It's on a whole different level.
Mm-hmm.
right. Come on,
Okay,
Tyson, jump
Tyson,
in here,
your
man.
turn.
Well, that was gonna be my first. That work
First.
wife thing.
That's a no-go.
No.
No, you don't play like that. You don't like
Work
you
wife,
got-
work husband. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
both.
you don't
No.
do that. Work
Yeah.
husband. You know,
Yeah.
like I got my celebrity crush.
Yeah, no, yeah.
because the mind is powerful.
Yeah.
Right.
That imagination can
Right.
take you places.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that. And there's this great book by Eric Byrne, Games People Play.
Mm.
People play games.
Yeah.
And
Man.
if you're not familiar with the game, right, you can get caught up.
Yeah.
Right.
You go to work to earn income to take care of your family.
Amen.
Right.
Just keep it separate if you can. But as we mature, I mean, you meet your spouse or your significant other at church,
Yeah.
at work, or gathering. So it happens.
Right.
But people play games.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it
And-
happens, but it should be boundaries.
There
With that.
you have
Right.
to say.
Happens, right?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we do this? So it's young people on here too. You know,
Okay.
we got a little more season on our fry.
Okay.
But there's some young
We
folks
do,
in here
we
as
do.
well.
Just a
So
little
let's
bit.
do this. If we can go back to the 90s, I think most of us go back
Okay.
there. Most of us get at least back to the 90s. Let's say back to the 90s. You 18 years old.
Mm.
Now you're not Dr. Tamika. You just
Yes.
Mika.
Yeah.
You're not Dr. Extraordinaire,
Coffeeville Ken.
Author,
From
Tyson.
Coffeeville
You just
Ken.
Big
Mika,
T.
yeah.
You Big T shooting your jump shot in the
Yes.
gym. Damali, you
Yes.
back to just D nice.
Okay.
You're not Damali Wilson, the COO, and none of that. You just D nice.
Yes.
You're a junior in high school.
Yes.
What was your 3 perceptions of relationships then
Mm.
versus your 3 perceptions of relationships now? Go back to 18.
Ooh.
Go back to 18.
Yikes.
Listen, I was smart when I was 18.
I believe
Mhm.
that. You became a doctor for a reason.
Right,
So, but
right, right.
perception of
I was
relationships,
smart
though.
when I was 18, and I don't know if my perception really changed too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up in a single parent home
Yeah.
Mhm.
where I watched my mom do everything.
Right.
Everything.
Okay.
And I still think, well, I would say at 18, I was really independent,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, and I learned that from my mom. And a lot of things that we do as women, which could be could be perceived wrong, is that yeah, she's strong and she's independent and she don't need a man. You get what I mean?
Right. right.
A lot of us women, especially Black women, are independent because we have to.
Speak on it.
Man.
You get what I mean?
Speak on it.
It wasn't like we just woke up and said,
Yes.
you know, this is what we want to be.
Yeah. Really? Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now, as a young girl at 18, my mom taught me, you got to provide for yourself. You got to do this. You got to do
Man.
that. Right?
Right.
That's what she
right.
taught me. I've grown to be a little softer than that, but can't be too much softer than that because we have to do everything.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not by like, oh, we want to drive all the time. No, we would like to sit in the passenger seat,
Thank you.
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Thank you.
But we
Kick my
can't
shoes off.
follow somebody that can't lead.
Oof.
So what? We're gonna keep going in circles and circles just because we have this man-woman thing,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah, we would like somebody to lead.
Mhm.
Amen.
Mhm.
Please lead.
Please.
But we need to be led in the right direction.
Right.
You
Man.
know,
Yeah.
so I guess if we're talking about my perception from 18 to now, the difference would be where growing up, I thought that I had to do everything,
Right.
Mm.
right?
Right.
Right now, I know that I don't have to do everything, but sometimes you do.
Mhm.
And it's okay. And you accept that.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's no slight on men,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know,
It just
but
is
I
what it
mean,
is.
if you want to be taken to the next level, if you sit up there and wait for a savior, you probably be right where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna ask her, do you think
right.
because at 18 you saw your mama do everything
Mhm.
that you was already by design that I'm gonna have to do everything just because
yeah.
that's what you saw?
Yeah, that's what she taught us.
And that's what
That's
she taught
what she
you.
taught us is that you can't wait on anybody, right? You don't want to be on welfare, do you? You got to get your stuff together. You have your goals, and you go for it, right? So we were taught that by any means necessary, you take care of it. Right?
I love it.
But I still, if I'm gonna have a man or whatever, I want you to treat me like a lady. That means even if I got it, you're gonna make sure I don't have to do it.
Exactly.
Right.
That part.
And I'm not talking about monetary, because I see this stuff on Facebook and everything. And what I don't like is we are in the era, not like the 90s. 90s era, 90s music is about love.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
This is a whole different era, right? I don't need you to come bring me a bag.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna give you my bag.
You
get what I'm saying?
Bam.
So, it's a whole different era from 90s to now. When I look on Facebook, it's like men versus women. And that is insane.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You see no men, especially our Black men, uplifting Black women.
Right.
And we say that we do so much, and we do, because at the Juneteenth thing, right? When the bullets and everything was flying, men were running. And there was a lot of aunties coming to take care.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, this is not nothing I made up. This
Yeah.
is what's happening. And if you take a look at that, that's what's going on in the community.
It is.
Woo, Tyson.
Wow.
Tyson, get on here. 18 though now,
Yeah.
Tyson. Not. I'll go next. You want me to go next?
Well, 18,
You go next.
I was engaged at 18.
Come on.
So I had a
Tyson.
whole different perspective about relationships. But
So I'm with you.
we'll get into that into the next segment of why. But we all have these inner vows why we make these decisions.
Yeah.
So I was committed to marrying someone, treating them better than what my dad did my mom. I was on a mission to right the wrongs of dad.
Right.
Oh,
So
man.
I had this warped idea that I was the savior. And like you, I did everything. But it's just different now. My different when it comes to romantic relationships and partnerships is totally different. And kind of like your mom taught you to do, you have to provide. Well, you should, right? Because it's not guaranteed that you're gonna be married.
Right.
My mama said she taught us how to sew, how to cook.
My mama did too.
Because she said you may not ever get married. You need to know how to do that.
Right.
And if you do marry someone, she may not know how to do it. So you need to be able to take care of yourself. So there's some balance that we need to have. I was this guy that's gonna fix everything with this one relationship. And it cost me my identity.
Yes.
And like you may come across as being, okay, she don't need me. Well, when it comes to romance, you shouldn't need it. It's something that you should desire and want, but not need. And when
There's
a
a
relationship
difference.
romantically is about needing, it can be messed up. Now we need community.
Right.
See, the scripture says it's not good that man be alone. I believe he was talking about mankind,
Uh-huh.
not a man in a romantic setting.
Correct.
So women, what you add to men and what men add to women creates balance.
Right.
This holistic approach about life.
Right.
But when it wasn't just romance, and it can't be, because if that was the case, he would have to provide a way for everybody to be married. It would be a law
Right.
or a rule,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not. It is a choice.
Yep.
It's a good thing, but it also comes with a lot of headache. So relationships, when we think of romance, I thought that it was something for me to do to fix something then.
Oh, okay.
So my motive was wrong. So I was going to fix everything. I tried to de-stress her whole life. And that was weird. That was unbalanced. that was too much.
I'm gonna distress everything.
Yeah, if we ate watermelon, I would chop it up, take out every seed if it had.
Oh.
I don't even want you to spit no seeds out, baby.
I ain't gonna let you do nothing, right? And then you get obsessed with the idea that I gotta fix everything. It's my responsibility. So when we think of relationships, we have to come across it as balance. I believe community is number one.
Right.
Romance is something that can be added. It's like dessert. It's not necessarily nutritious, but now you don't need a man.
Right.
Women don't need men to provide for them. You go back 300 years, if you wasn't married, you tend to stay home.
Yeah.
There was no way to really make a living. And if you did have a community of women, they had to be tough, be able to protect themselves, because it was lawlessness out there in a lot of places, right? So having men was important. But you don't need a man to protect you now. You don't need a man to provide financially for you now. It's good to have that emotional support, but you can get that from uncle, get from father, but we don't have that. So now there's this deficit. I want a man to affirm me. See, men, we play ball, Charles. We get a high five, pat on the butt. Men always affirm each other. And the aunties were there. They always affirm each other.
Oh yeah.
But men affirming women is not
really
really
like
holistic.
Yeah.
Most women have experiences with men. It's sexual.
Mm.
I
That's
asked
true.
9 women in my barbershop one day, how many of y'all have been in a relationship where a man touched you with no expectation or was around you? All he wanted was the best for you. Only one of them said yeah. And she probably had a good dad.
So on to that point, if there is, because I think that this is something that we need to visit with women as well.
Yeah.
If there is a guy that is trying to just be there to help, you know, just a, hey, I see you in the struggle, let me help you, then it's the twisted thinking, which I've seen, that women think, oh, I got to sleep with him, or I got to give him something because he did that for me, or I'm falling in love with him because he did this for me.
Look, I've worked with women for a while and talked to them over the years, and most women have said, hey, if he do something for you, that means he wants something from you.
Right.
And it's typically sex. Don't take nothing from a man.
Right.
And you know what's sad is that even nice behavior from a man has become as you flirting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's not just that happened that way.
Right.
That's what people been seeing over and over again. So then when you see a nice person come and say, hey, let me get that gas for you, you like, what's going on?
You get
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what's going on? They want something because that's how they've been treated before. So when you've been treated so badly before, you don't realize when somebody's being nice to you and being genuine.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that too, because I didn't trust men.
It's not flirt.
Especially black men. Because all the black men in my life, my daddy he didn't want to beat my mom. All the little boyfriends she had, they were manipulative.
Yeah.
She had a guy that was a boyfriend. He was a mechanic. He ripped me off, told me my light bulb cost $75, but he gonna charge me $55. It was $8.
Wow.
So all the men I knew. So when a man came to me about a business deal, well, I didn't want to do it because I don't trust black men. Same thing, because they were dogs.
Yeah.
And so I grew up with this concept: men are dogs, women are innocent.
Yeah.
All right,
got me in trouble.
Now hold on. Now you got to go back to 18. You know, R. Kelly, 12 players out. We going back to the 90s. Tevin Campbell, Can I Talk? Mary J. You remind me. You know, you got to go back. You got to throw some songs out there. You know what I'm talking about? So at 18, 17, 18, let's just go back to high school. What was your kind of lens on relationships?
I think I was always very naive. My mother kind of sheltered us just because my mother was a nurse. She worked in the ICU with children. Right. And so she saw, you know, kids being scalded by their parents and just all this crazy stuff. And, you know, so my mom was like, no, you ain't spending the night at nobody's house. You ain't going. I don't care. It don't matter. And so we were just really sheltered. And so, you know, what I knew was familiar. You know, it was family. That was it. And now I wanted my own independence because I was the oldest child. So it was like I had to do my sister's hair and all this and that. And I was like, man, I'm over this. I'm ready to get up out of here, you know? And so when I had a boyfriend, and for me, I was just so naive thinking he wouldn't cheat. He wouldn't, you know, we got the perfect relationship. You know, this is my life partner. And we married. I got married at 18. Got divorced at 27 because he was still stuck at 18, you know, how I was at 18, and I'm 27 now. So the same stuff that we did back then, it don't work now. We got 2 kids. It don't work, you know? So back then I was very, very naive. I thought that, you know, you grow up, meet a guy, get a dog, get a house. This is, you know, that princess lifestyle. That's what I had embedded in my head. I didn't know anything about all of the other stuff. I didn't know about the women that would see how your boyfriend, fiance, husband treated you. Now they trying to slide in where they can get in. So I didn't know nothing about that. You know, so everybody's my friend. You smiling in my face. Hey, you know, while you over here sliding him your pager number.
Oh, not the beeper.
Yes. That's it. I'm in the pager era.
Pager. Yeah.
You know,
that's real.
But I didn't know anything about that. You know, just naive to the fact. You know, if he's standing over here in the corner talking to some girl, I'm thinking, oh, you know, that's just his friend or, you know, whatever, not knowing that you're trying to holler.
Right.
You know, so it's different, you know, and I think that our society is so sad that we want what we don't have. You know, if I'm fat, I want to be skinny. If I'm skinny, I want to be fat. You know, if I got long hair, I want short hair. If I got short hair, I want long hair. If I see you with a guy that's treating you a certain way, I want that guy.
Wow.
And see, that's what I didn't know about y'all.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all can be scandalous, and I did not have a clue.
But I think it goes both ways.
It does. It's people.
It's
It's
people.
the heart of man,
Yeah.
mankind, not just a woman or female or male. It's people.
Yes,
I
it's
think
people.
that, and I think with me at 18, I was different from y'all. Y'all always getting married. Y'all was focused and all that. I wasn't doing none of that. You know, like none that y'all was doing. You know, I wasn't doing none of that at all. Because, you know, I'm finishing up high school, football scholarships, going off to college, trying to pledge Phi
You
Beta
was a
Sigma,
jock.
playing football. I'm
Yeah.
in that world.
The jock.
And it's a lot going on in that world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So, and then I'll just say this, and maybe y'all can relate to it, maybe you can't. It seemed like junior, senior year, all those girls at that point, I felt like grew up faster than we
Absolutely.
did,
Mm.
knew
Absolutely.
more, wanted more.
Mhm.
So a lot of times the old cats, they coming around in the Cutlass Supremes and the Monte Carlos, hollering at them, picking them up, rolling out.
And my
Yeah.
boyfriend was an old cat. He's 21.
To my point, so
I
when
was
you
18.
junior, senior, now you kind of in no man's. What are you really looking for? Because you can't compete with the brother out here that's already 23, 24 with the car already. It's
Right.
clean. He got the clothes on. He's
Yeah.
smelling good, and you still a little musty. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't figured out your cologne yet. You ain't got your haircut.
Yeah.
You ain't got your edge up right yet, and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'll just say I was just in a world of just trying to figure it all out. You know what I mean?
That's
If you
good.
win, just getting what I can, trying to fit in, trying to figure out life. Would see a girl that I really like, but it's kind of like, what do you really do at 18 when you ain't got a lot going on?
Yeah.
You know,
Right,
at this
right.
point, I ain't thinking about a house. I'm not thinking about no
Yeah.
kids. I'm thinking about a little bit of cooking, if I can get it, please.
Mhm.
Thank you very much if I can. And if I
Right.
can't, then I'm kind of moving around after that. But I just think that I just was not, I think I was mature in some ways.
Right.
But when it came to relationships,
Oh, that's
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
then I just didn't have no cards to play with. So you got to remember, when just me.
I like that. No cards to play with. I like
I
that.
had no
Yeah.
cards to play with. So, you know, older women to kiss me and tongue me in my mouth. I don't know what that is. Is that a snake in my mouth? What is
You
that?
are
It
ignorant.
feel all right, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
everybody exploring, everybody trying to drink a little bit or
Yeah.
smoke a little bit
Yeah,
or do.
do
So that's
something.
how it
Yeah.
was. We go party together and we dance hard, and you dance with the people that you like and you sweat and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's kind of relationships. That's kind of where I was. Just kind of
So
all over
in
the place.
this, then let's hit on another topic: cheating.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Yeah.
There is, you know, everybody has their own definition of what cheating is.
Yeah.
Right.
So from your perspective, Dr. Meek, and I'll just go to you because I just go ladies first. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
What is your definition? Top 3 things that you consider cheating.
Well, you have emotional cheating and you
Oh, yeah.
got
Boom. Okay.
physical cheating,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They're both equal to each other, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yes.
Man,
Yeah.
that's real.
If
So-
you're out there
explain-
sending people
explain the
good
two.
morning texts, right? Why you no? That's cheating too,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you got a significant other and you are flirting online or you're flirting in person, if you're in your workspace and you're doing a little flirting and whatever, that's cheating. If you can't do whatever you're doing in front of your partner,
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
to me, that's cheating.
Correct.
Right?
yeah.
If there's anything that has to be a secret, if there's text that needs to be deleted,
Mhm.
that's cheating.
Mhm.
It don't matter if it was physical, right? You gearing up for it.
Man,
That's good.
real.
And even and so okay, Tyson, let's go to you.
What
Let-
is your
before I
top 3
say-
things that you consider? Now,
Well,
hold on. Now,
to
you
me,
said the good
Mhm.
morning text,
Yeah.
physical,
Yeah.
or a text message.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
third one?
Well, I don't
Emotional,
think for me there's a
physical,
third one. I just think it's
Either one of those two.
emotional or
Ooh,
physical.
that's all
That's cheating.
encompassing.
For the whole thing is, if you're doing anything that you cannot show your spouse or do in front of your significant other, to me that's cheating.
I think
Mhm.
she said it.
Man, that's
It's
it.
like
Yeah.
a spades partner.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You know what I mean? Hey, you and your partner, y'all can
Yeah.
talk over the board. Y'all can
Yeah.
googly eye.
Mhm.
Right.
You can give your little, you know, like what you got, partner. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But the guy on the right and the left, they get none. So
Uh-huh.
it's basically what you said.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
anything you can't share between, you know, you and your partner, you know, and you know it goes against your core values and what y'all have established, then it just don't work.
Mhm.
I think that sometimes what we consider and what, you know, I've kind of been doing a little bit of research, and I'll pull out the numbers here in a second, but like some men believe that there is cheating to them is if I'm kissing, if I'm hugging, if I'm, you know, actually having intercourse, that's cheating. and they don't consider the emotional.
Yeah.
And what I try to say is, women are emotional creatures, right? And so anything that you do, I've seen it, you're doing something nice. If I open up the car door, that constitutes, oh, he likes me. No, he just opened up your car door because he's a gentleman,
And you say that the men don't see the emotional side as cheating. Well, if a woman's doing, they see it as cheating.
Correct.
Yeah, and we are wired different. Like emotionally, when a man has intercourse, he feels more guilty, but not the emotional side. Because mom always takes care of us. It's gonna be all right, baby. So we used to that, right? So we don't. A lot of us don't,
right?
But most of us, like when she digging you. And then women, like if it's emotional, she's gone. Now they say I read this one stat: a woman when she's getting ready to divorce you, she done made her mind up about 3 years ago.
Exactly.
She's kind of preparing, and then she's emotionally aligned herself with someone else. And so emotion and physical, they're both they're cheating, but the impact in how it affects us is a little different with men and women. But I mean, it's the same, because I wouldn't want my wife, holding my hand, thinking about,
somebody else.
Somebody else.
And I mean, and would you want your partner sharing, like sharing your personal business with somebody else of the opposite sex?
Out of line.
It's out of line. That's what I think. I'm like, no.
Let me ask y'all this then. So how do we, because we given our experience, and then people just talk to us about it. Our sister went through it. So all of this, y'all on the live, is not personal. We all got enough season on our fry to get
life
some
experience.
Advice.
This is life experience.
We have business partners that we're going to have to travel the world with, but you're married. So how do you set boundaries with that? Because now the not spending time, not good morning, hey, we got to do these meetings. A lot of that stuff is so close now. So us as seasoned people, how do we operate that taking off? We going on tour. We the tour managers for this person.
Okay.
So we work together with this artist, and we do everything. We gone for the next 2 months. So how you manage something like that? Because people do deal with that. So what are the boundaries? How do you set that when it's something that close?
Do you? I can.
Well, look. I'm going to use biblical scripture. It says yoke.
Yeah.
We're talking about being yoked, right?
Yeah.
When you yoke, you just call it a ball and chain, whatever you call it. But don't share your emotional love package with somebody else. It's just like a friend. It's like no different than my niece or my daughter or my sister. They're a woman, whether they're pretty or attractive or not. There is a boundary there. You know what I mean? I have you have daughters, right?
Right.
You have daughters, right? Okay, there's a boundary there. This is a daughter friend of mine. This is not my love person. It's just about being committed. Like, stay committed to what you promised. You said that this is yours. That's not yours. Don't go drinking out of someone else's trough, or eating out of someone else's trough, or drinking out of someone else's cistern, right? Like, it's just not for you to do.
Right.
So you just gotta. Yeah. So like Charles, think about it. Men are visual. Like, if you see it, right? It's like you see it, you notice it, right? But if it's your boy's daughter, it don't even go there.
Don't go there, right?
It don't even. Oh, that's baby girl. Well, you just gotta set your affections. The Bible says we can set our affections. We can choose what we set our affections. So men say, "Oh, it's just it's the animal in me. It's just man, that's dumb, right? You know what I mean? Set your affections, right? And so put it in perspective and just do what you're supposed to do. That's how you do it.
I think I'll just add in. I'm gonna pass it to you, Dr. Samika. Is hopefully when you got to travel, you friends, maybe communication to help. Let's have a dinner or something together before we take off on this extravaganza to just have a conversation, especially if the person may not to know your coworker or who you got to go with as well. Let's just meet. Let's go to lunch, dinner. Let's maybe find a way to spend some time together before we go so that we can get a feel for each other, because guess what? By the time the wife or the husband they'll be like, I like or don't like. This person.
So what you're saying, keep them in the loop.
Keep them in the loop.
That's what I was going to hit on, is that communication is everything. So if you're out traveling with your business partner that so happens to be a woman or a male, and you're gone for the whole weekend or whatever, and you don't check in with your partner, that's a problem. Right. So it's like keeping that communication open. And then when there is opportunity for them to come, making sure you're inviting them too.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like all
good.
your trips don't have to be solo trips.
That's right.
You know, I think
That's
most
right.
of them could be together actually.
Mhm.
You know,
And
as
this is
long
my
as
work,
that
and
as
this-
long as
yeah.
that doesn't bleed over and get in the way. You know, yeah, you could come with me, but at this time I've got to do this, at this time I got to do that, at this time you got to do that. If I got to entertain you on this trip, then you don't need to come with me.
That's right.
Right?
Right.
Because it's business.
Yeah, that's
Right,
good.
right, right.
You know what
That's
I'm
good.
saying?
That's
But we're
good.
not going to exclude you from it. If you could figure out a way you could help, are you going to take notes? You know, are you going to add to it? So give
I
them
love that.
things that,
Yeah,
they
that's
can
wisdom.
add
I love
to.
that.
Yeah,
That's
Right?
That's good,
Give them an
Doctor.
assignment. Yeah, you could come. Could you do such and such, such and such? We need such, because we all need help.
Yeah.
Right? So incorporate that person into what you're doing.
So, question: what happens if it's a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend relationship? You do have to take this trip with a person that you work with, but that person, has a crush on your boyfriend, girl, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you and a coworker are going to take this 2-week trip, 2-month trip, whatever. But it's known in your relationship that this person has a crush. It could be on the man or the woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What then do you do in that situation? How do you set up boundaries, in you guys' opinion, that will allow for this trip to take place where your significant other or your wife or husband is not worried about or angry about the fact that you guys are out for 2 months?
2 months is a long
2
time.
months is a
I'm
long
just,
time.
that was a scenario you made up. So
I
I'm
think-
just trying to keep
I'll
it.
that ain't gonna work.
I'll add in.
Exactly.
I may add in. Okay, if it's business has to be taken care of.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
I'm the type of person, I don't want to put no restrictions on a person that got to go do a difficult job. I
Right,
need you to
right.
be in the zone.
Right.
Mhm.
But I may be like, I know y'all gonna have long days busy doing this time, but I may come in on the weekend
Right.
or something.
That's good.
Because
Yeah.
2 months a long time. Let's just go ahead and say it all that's going on. But on
Right.
the weekends here, I'm gonna come so we can hang, we can do our thing, and we all can hang out a
Right.
little bit.
Right.
And then after that, I gotta go on back to the crib, baby. Good job, whatever, something like
Yeah.
that. But like you said, that's a tough task. But that's something immediately that I would kind of think
Yeah,
about.
and that's tough too, because what you're saying is one person out of the business is crushing on the other person that's in the
Exactly.
business.
And so
That-
now those
that's a-
two people are in another city,
Right.
and the significant other, whether it's wife, girlfriend, whatever, knows
Right.
that this person is crushing on this person.
Right.
So how do you handle that?
So, and I think from that, it has to be a trust trust
Mhm.
thing,
Mhm.
right? You've got to be able to trust your significant other. If you don't, then maybe y'all don't even need to be in that relationship in the first place.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You have to trust them to do what they're gonna do. Now you can't not trust that other person to do what they're
What they
gonna do, right?
Right.
But they're not the one that's with you.
That's
right.
You get what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
yeah.
It's that person that you know that you're evenly yoked
right.
with,
Mhm.
that y'all have that strong bond.
Mhm.
If not, that's something that you don't need anyways.
Mhm.
If he's gonna go out or she's gonna go out and be on business, a lot of people say it's business and it's
And
not
it's a lie.
business.
They
Yeah.
handling business.
Let me look.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
throw this
yeah,
out here.
yeah.
So you got a son or a daughter, just your own advice, and they be like, "Well, mom, dad, what is a good age? When do you think I should consider marriage?" Then what is your answer to that?
Mm.
For me, I don't think marriage has an age
Yeah.
on it. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, you need to be grown legally, right? But I don't think that you could put an age on it. You know, you have people that meet people in like a month or so and get married, and then they've been married for years.
Mhm.
So I just think that you have to have a mature mind for it, and be ready to know that it's not just fairy tales. It's about compromise.
Yeah, let's do. I'm gonna go to the live real quick. I haven't forgot about y'all. Hold
Okay.
on. So Teresa said she got this big speak, Dr. Rogers. Speak. She on there, knowing where you are going if you are going to leave. Know where you're going if you're
Right.
going to
Gonna
leave.
leave.
That
That's
makes
right.
sense. Mr. Energizer, he's on. That's long. I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
And Jolie, not Jolie, said women always need men.
Yes,
Somebody said that.
absolutely.
Women always need men.
Absolutely.
Eli Grayson said, "Oh Lord, y'all talking about hooking up with rings and things." Whatever that means. Gospel artist extraordinaire out of Michigan, Robert Hawkins is on. He said,
What's up, cousin?
family?" He in the building. And hey, Willie Wright.
What's up,
Our
Willie?
partner, hey, welcome to
Yeah.
the show, man. He said Jim, so he put a
Yeah.
diamond on there. So Damali will come back. Age, I'll go next, and then I'm gonna pitch it to you, Tyson. Then I told my son 30. You know, that's probably why he's about to get married now at 30. Because when I was younger in college, I was more like, man, when I graduated from college, you know, I got enough experience when I was younger to know I'd rather settle down. I don't want to be the bachelor running out. I don't do all that. I'd rather just get somewhere and sit down. Right. You know that about your own self. So I was like, when I graduated from college, I want to get married. I want to get a big house. I want to do the car. I want to do the family thing. That's just how I was designed. But I remember Mr. Porter, who was my landlord when I was in college. He was like, young man, because I'm telling him this, but I'm like 23 at the time. So by the time I graduate and stuff, I'll be like 25. He said, man, I'll wait till I get 30. Just because you just know a little bit more about life.
That's right.
Now, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm a man, you a man. And it takes men a little longer. Women might be ready at 25, 26. But I'm just telling you, as men, it takes a little longer. So you do what you want to do, but I would say 30, you know, would be good. So I didn't take that advice, of course. So at 26, I got married. And by 30, I was separated. For a little bit, then had to try to figure out some stuff to come back together. You know, and I'm just saying that because we're just talking about some of our own experience and then some we just know from other people. So when my son come along, I'm the same one. Like, son, look, he went to go to college, play. He had some of the same stuff, football, all that stuff. I said, man, just go live a little bit, man.
Yes,
just live. If you want to go on a day to go to the movies, to take something, do all of that, but just go live a little bit. Because it does take a man a minute to figure out just how he wants his haircut, what cologne, don't put on too much, just kids where you want to live, spiritual things. Where's your purpose in life? You know, a lot of times you might not know your purpose at 22, 22, 20, but a lot of times by 30, if you don't know, you might not never know. But, you know, shout out to him. He's about to get married like pretty soon, but that's just kind of my own thing. So not for my daughters now. My daughter's different. I say that only because it's the biological thing with having babies and some of that stuff that I think may be different because I'm a guy. So with my son, 30, with my daughters, it may be earlier because other stuff is going on that you might need to go talk to your mama about in terms of the biological clock and a lot of that stuff. So now I just try to speak to them about a man perspective, and you might be ready at 25, but the brother might not. I don't know. But I just try to give her that kind of advice.
That's good.
Tyson, you got a son and daughter. So what's your advice if they say, Dad, what age? You know, when should I get married?
You know, they say it takes 10,000 hours to perfect a skill or craft or trade. I'm a barber, been 38 years, almost 39 years. And I remember probably year 20, I was rolling. You couldn't tell me nothing. I knew what to do. But after 25 years, it was something else that I knew. We spend more time on trades, figuring out what college we're going to go to, picking our car, our outfit, than we really do developing who we are. And when you think of marriage, it's an identity issue. It's two people becoming one.
Right.
And I'm telling you, the worst thing is to be hooked up with somebody and don't know who you are. And that's why I'm writing this book. It's called I Didn't Know It Was Okay to Be Me. It's about living as yourself unapologetically as God intended.
Right.
That takes time. And we live in a world where identity is so skewed, it's messed up. Now, men, no matter what you believe, whether you're a Buddhist or atheist or whatever, we know that we provide and protect. I mean, it's just a general
given.
But women, man, they're like, man, what do we do? I need a man to work. Should I get married? The fairy tale? You know, do I have a baby? Am I my mom? Or what am I? Most men are done at 25. We don't know who we are.
Right.
You know, when we get 30, we start to figure some things out. In Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, based on his research, he said about 40 or so men start to really figure themselves out.
At 40?
40 plus. Yes, where they really start to create momentum. And now with all this distraction, I mean, there's no age, but it's a level of maturity. And this is what the Bible said. He says that I thought love was enough.
Oof.
Tina Turner said, what does love have to do with it? And I didn't like that song because love has everything to do with it. Well, not when it comes to building a house. It says that a house is established through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Did I love my kids' mom? Yeah. Did I have enough money to take care of her and provide for her, even at a young age? You know, I worked 20 hours a week. I made 30 grand my senior year in high school. And that was the average household or median income then was like 36,000 then. So I had enough money. I had the vision, but no wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And I didn't have men telling me or teaching me. It was my love that pushed, but it's not enough. So if I was going to put an age, man, I'm thinking mid 30s give or take, maybe third, because we don't believe. And then this is the last thing to make. Marriage is a biblical union.
Right.
Most of us don't even know why. Why? Because you don't need my money.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need my protection. You got a gun. I don't have one. I know you shoot. I know you shoot. You know what I mean? Just
we got
like
shooters in the house.
I don't.
I don't.
So you don't need my protection.
Like
She said she don't.
So but the point is that so why? And I don't think most of us really understand the purpose of marriage, because it's a God thing. We haven't even done enough research to really understand what it really means to become one.
Yeah.
So ignorance, it'll show, because I got engaged at 17, married at 19, divorced at 43. And I still didn't understand what marriage is about after I got married the second time. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Doctor.
Well, I can say I've never been married, but I'm looking more and more at it now as, as I get older, as a first thing, as a business relationship. I mean, a friend relationship, right? First, I think you need to be really good friends, but then also as a business thing, because, in my opinion, when I see married couples and things like that, or when I look at marriage, I think of business.
I would agree.
That might be unpopular,
That makes sense.
but you fall in and out of love all day. You can stop liking somebody and this, that, and the other, but what can we both bring to the table to make it work? Right? And so that's why when Tina Turner said, "What's love got to do with it?" Right? What's love got to do with it when mortgages due? You get what I mean? What's love got to do with it when the baby need milk and diapers?
That part.
You get what I mean?
That part.
What's love got to do with it when my car is broken down? Right? So love did not fill your belly. Right? You could be starving and be full of love, but what's that got to do with it? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So even so, and people change it. Y'all not even gonna y'all gonna be like, "Oh, she's crazy" when I say this. I'm like, shoot, this should be a 7-year contract, and then decide if we want to renew this.
Ooh, hey, hold up. Let's go. Hold up. That's a mic drop. Let me go to the live for a second. Then Damali, you up next. Mr. Energizer, J-Bone Lounge, Mr. Afro Extraordinaire says, "I've invited my wife to come on every trip I've made to Tulsa. There have been times she was not able to come with me due to work, etc. When she is not with me, we both check in with each other during the times we are not with each other. We have been married for 44 years, and that's trust and great communication." 44 years. Shout out to you, Mr. Energizer. That was a hand clap right there. We got to take a break, y'all. This is a super long segment. When we come back, we got to leave the people with 3 gems, because we got upcoming events. We got to get to Hump Day Hot Topic and all that stuff in time. Boy, y'all, it's tough. But we be jumping nuggets. KBOB
rapid fire too.
89.9 FM news you can use. KBOB, we're going to be right back.
Sound familiar? Well, guess what? Sounds like you need the Last Stop Shop. The only name you need to know, the Last Stop Shop. Tulsa area's #1 mobile mechanic service. And they come to you. They get you running or stopping again. From brakes to starter, alternator, generator, RV, even welding repair.
They say that's that year.
Mobile fleet maintenance and mobile oil changes. Like I told you, this will be the last stop you ever make. Call the Last Stop Shop. Tulsa area's #1 mobile mechanic service at 918-405-3970. That's 918-405-3970. And they'll have you back up and running in no time. Mention you heard this ad on KBOB 89.9 and receive 10% off your first service. Who you gonna call?
They said take it left.
Tulsa area's #1 mobile mechanic service. That number again is 918-405-3970.
Are you or someone you know just as involved? Are you or someone you know in need of support services? Don't worry, Fitting Back In got you covered. We offer life skill workshops, career development, job search, substance abuse counseling, and more. We are located at 2121 North Harvard Avenue, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 74115. Give us a call at 918-592-3500. Follow us at Fitting Back In Tulsa. Also, visit us on our website for services at www.fittingbackininc.org. Our services are available only in Tulsa County.
The Juice Radio Show and KBOB 89.9 would like to say thank you to all of our listeners and sponsors who donate to help keep our media program alive. Reaching the community, the Juice Radio Network continues to expand as influencers in the community of North Tulsa and beyond, but can't do that without your help. That's why it's important that we as a community continue to support the Juice Radio Show and keep 89.9 on the air. The community not only deserves this service, but needs this service. Let's continue to support the mission and giving a voice to the voiceless and donate to the Juice Radio Show. The Juice Radio Show is a nonprofit 501c3 powered by KBOB 89.9 and Eden Media Services, operating solely off the gifts, donations, and contributions made by listeners like yourself. All donations made to the Juice Radio Show are tax deductible and can be sent to 1216 North Lansing Avenue, Suite D, Tulsa, Oklahoma 74106.
It's Tulsa, Tulsa. I see you here in Tulsa. I'm in Tulsa chilling.
We appreciate your continued support and thanks for listening to KBOB 89.9 FM.
KBOB 89.9 FM News you can use. Charles and Damali, Dr. Rogers, Dr. Tyson Thompson, Damali and I, and we are back. And we finna do this segment called Rapid Fire. Let's get to it.
So I have some questions, and of course I've pulled the statistics. Okay, so I'm just gonna shoot out some stuff. You tell me what you think your percentage is, and I'll tell you what the people say. Okay. So this is what men versus women consider cheating, because that's what we started out with. Okay, this is a percentage,
Right.
okay, of which one thinks more or less or whatever. Okay, so sexual intercourse with someone else. What percentage of women think it's cheating? What percentage of men think it's cheating?
I'll say 90% of women.
Okay.
And probably I probably 90% of men too.
I say 100% for both of them.
Okay. So answer is 95 to 99% for both. So you guys were right on point. Kissing someone else.
Oh, I'd say 95%.
Okay. Which one? Women?
Both of them.
Both of them.
I think
okay.
it's 100.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 100.
Actually, 85% of women consider it cheating, and 75% of men consider it cheating.
Oh, wow.
See,
You know,
that's
they
the
say
whole
that's
thing.
actually they say that the connection in the brain when you kiss is deeper
Then
with a kiss than
intercourse.
intercourse.
Yeah, it definitely
Wow.
is. See,
Like literally.
we don't got a chance.
No,
out
I'm
there.
just-
They-
No,
that-
they-
No,
that-
no, I was just thinking when
85%.
somebody first
Yes.
kissed me, my hat flew off. I didn't know what y'all just said. So
Hey,
my hat left. I still haven't found my hat, Tyson.
that
I don't know where my hat is. It changed my life. So
I got you.
so somebody cheated when they kissed me.
Right
I don't know about the percentage. What's next,
Okay.
Molly? Okay.
Sexting.
Okay. I'd probably say 50% of men say, and maybe 65% of women say.
I would say 98% women, and I would say 50% men.
85% of women say sexting,
Yes.
and 70% of men.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not-
Okay,
higher
so
than
that's
I
kind of
thought.
right in there.
Mhm.
Okay, emotional intimacy with someone else.
I would say 90% women and probably 70% men.
I would say 90%, 98% women, and probably 50% men.
So 72 to 85% of women consider it cheating, and 50 to 65% of men consider it
Mhm.
cheating. Let's see, secreting text DMs with another man or woman.
That's 100%.
Yeah, I say 100, but
Both
probably the
ways.
same. 85
Yeah.
women, and maybe the 55% men, kind of like the text.
The text.
I say 100% both ways.
So 80% of women consider it cheating, and 60% of men.
See, and people ask me why I'm single.
Say what it
See what I'm saying?
Okay, I got two more. Spending one-on-one time repeatedly with another man or woman. Man/woman.
One-on-one time, I would think for women probably 80%.
Yeah, I say
I would
80.
say with men probably 40%.
Yeah, I would agree with her. So 80 women and
Mhm.
probably 45, 50 men.
75% women, 50% men.
Mhm.
Okay, last one. Having fantasies about a coworker/friend.
That's 100 for me, but I would say women would probably say I think it's gonna be lower, probably 70%, and then men about 40.
Yeah, I mean, you can't control people's fantasies. So I mean,
Man.
I could be fantasizing about,
Mhm.
Usher, and that doesn't
Right,
make
it
it
doesn't-
cheating.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just me. But I could say, for women, probably 70%, and for men, probably 30%. Is it that low?
You guys are so high. So women 40 to 50%,
Oh,
and men 20 to 30%.
okay.
Wow.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
I think it's 100.
Yeah, he said Tyson. I don't care what they
he
say.
don't want it to happen to
it
him.
starts
Like,
with a
you can
fantasy.
fantasize.
It- that's
'Cause
what I
everything
say.
look, I cheated.
Fantasy.
I cheated.
Yeah.
It started with a thought.
Yeah,
Everything
Oh.
starts with a thought. It starts in your mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
you think
Right.
about it.
you have a
Think about it.
dream. You have a
You think about it.
Yeah,
Yes. You
yeah.
think about it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do this, and then you just go yay, nay, or you can expound just a little bit. Can men and women be friends without a sexual relationship?
Yes.
Yes,
100%.
yes, both of y'all. Okay.
Good.
Do all men cheat?
No.
No.
Okay. Are all women sneaky?
No.
I wouldn't.
Wait a minute.
I don't
think
know.
about that.
What do you mean? I don't know.
Think about
Because
that. Wait
it
a
don't have to be
minute.
cheating. It could be like
sneaky.
like buying something or like
No.
going
No, we're
behind.
talking about relationships.
We're
Oh,
talking
okay,
about
okay.
relationships.
I
Wait
wouldn't say
a-
all.
You
I
wait a
wouldn't say
minute.
all.
That
No,
all is
not
a
all,
strong
just-
word. It says ALL.
Are all women?
Wait
I
a
say
minute.
most.
Wait a minute. Where are you getting this knowledge from?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. All right.
You know
that's,
what?
that's just
Damali,
our own
they just call
perception.
us sneaky because they can't get their mind together to do some things, and then they perceive it as sneaky,
Right.
when it's not really sneaky.
It's not.
We just talking about relationships.
just
I
relationships.
say yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. Are
Okay.
all men liars?
No.
No. Okay. Who is more flirty, men or women?
Oh, they can go
Who
either
is
way.
more
They could
flirty?
go either way.
So y'all
But if you had to
50-50.
say one,
If we had to pick,
I'm just saying if you had to
I
pick
would say
one,
men.
you would say men are more flirty.
No, I don't know. Either way.
I think
I'd
women
say-
are, because I think men are a lot hesitant.
Yeah, men
I
are
think
scary.
they hesitate. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
hesitating.
I would
Yeah.
say
Well, you gotta
women.
be, because I think
I would
men
say
have to be
women.
careful.
I would say
Yeah,
women are.
yes.
No, they are
Because you
scary
can
too.
flirt
They
with just
don't-
what you have
They
on.
don't.
They
They
are
don't.
scary.
They don't want rejection.
That's
Well,
right.
that's true.
Right. So
And-
they're less prone to flirt.
Yeah, and you
than
can
a
flirt
woman
without
is.
doing it.
Yeah.
You know, the chances of a man going up to a woman is when she's alone versus having friends.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, I
Yes,
believe
because
that.
if she get rejected, if he gets rejected,
It's not public.
It's not multiple
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just on a lie because I know you answered a lot of stuff, but we're gonna try to follow what Eli Grayson is saying. Because you was asking a question, so he was like, "That's cheating, that's cheating, that's cheating." Lord Jesus, that's definitely cheating. That's cheating too. It was cheating, but it was fun. And
It's cheating.
I totally agree with him. All of that.
he said everything
I
is
agree.
cheating.
I
Man.
agree with you.
All
and
that's
then-
cheating.
Yeah. Then he said, "Where did y'all grow up? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was born in Coffeyville, Kansas, but I've been in Tulsa all my life.
Where you
Mhm.
grew up?
Tulsa.
Where'd you grow up?
Tulsa.
I grew up in Arkansas, but I've been in Tulsa for 25 years.
Yeah.
25
On my dresser, yes,
They
sir.
really cheating in Arkansas.
They really up. They might be doing a little cheating. Let's do this. This is the last one. This is the last one. Which sex is more likely to pursue and advance?
Women.
Men or women?
Women.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
say women.
because it's that rejection thing. A lot of men don't like getting
No, they don't.
rejected, and so they don't even try.
Mm-hmm.
And if you approach, then they want to test the waters.
Yeah.
So they're curious. It's like their
Mhm.
curiosity, like,
Right.
where can this go? Is he really for real? Yeah. So I think women.
Mhm.
All right, we're gonna switch gears now. They're gonna give y'all some nuggets because y'all are lit on this thing right here. Y'all on fire, and we're gonna come back. But we got to switch gears just a little bit because we do have our Hump Day Hot Topic and we do have our Black History Trivia question. If you ready for the Hump Day Hot Topic, let's drop that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the all new KBOB 89.9 FM, Black on Black Community Radio.
And now it's time for the Hump Day Hot Topics
Y'all
with Charles
all
and
said
Damali.
women,
Guess what day it is?
Judge Wilson said me. He said the opposite. That man.
That men are flirting.
Yeah.
Mike.
Take that man.
It's the Hump Day Hot Topics on news you can use.
Mike.
We are back.
Yes, we are back. So I want to say just thank you to everybody who has participated in this conversation, because it's been great. Our hot topic today, because of the activity that happened over the Juneteenth weekend, then our mayor, who actually was out of town, had to jump in, and he has proposed, which actually is something that's going before city council today, and I believe they're talking about it tonight at city council. So for those of you who are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, under the sound of my voice, if you are concerned about this issue, then you should be at city council meeting tonight at 6:00.
Right.
But with that being said, what he is planning, or what he has proposed, I should say, is a curfew for downtown to apply to individuals 18 years of age or younger from 9:00 p.m. until 6:00 a.m. 7 days per week. They're going to talk about this. This is going to be a city ordinance. He's putting together or proposing a task force, is what he called it, that is going to enforce this curfew, should it actually go and become an ordinance within the city of Tulsa.
What you think about that, Doctor?
Right.
What curfew with stuff for kids, or?
I think it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's needed. I think it's needed for whole Tulsa.
I like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
not just downtown.
Yeah,
but...
I think it's needed for Tulsa in general, because we want to target a certain population.
Sure.
But then we also have to account for our youth who have jobs at night, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I guess I don't know how it's going to roll out. So I plan to come to that meeting. But even then, we have our Hispanic population. So if you got the task force asking for IDs and things like that, that might, so I just think it's a way that we would have to do it, in a way that we still should build relationships,
right?
Versus, just being punitive. But there's a way to do that, because we absolutely need a curfew.
Absolutely.
Right. We absolutely 1,000% need a curfew.
Tyson, what you?
Yeah, my wife and I, we talked about it too. When we talked about if it's gang violence that's leading it, and curfew, was it a certain age they talked about? I mean, we got some old heads too. So
yeah,
right.
I don't know how that works, but it will be something to enforce. So, anything helps.
I think that for me, I agree with you, Dr. Tamika, that it should be citywide, because these things, I mean, it seems like sometimes we focus on a certain area. So if it happens over here, then it's, that's just kids being kids. But if it happens over here, or they're violent.
Right.
And so I don't think that should be the case, because there are things that happen in different sectors of town, not just downtown Tulsa. So I think if we enforce it, period, around the whole city, that's going to make our whole city better. And I can just say this, that having come downtown and seeing the massive number of kids of all races,
right,
then I absolutely agree that, we do need a curfew, and we do need to have, I don't necessarily know that I would call it a task force,
right?
Just because that,
the name is
that
negative,
name
right?
Is negative,
and it makes me feel some kind of way, just from the onset.
Yeah.
But I think that we do need a body that does actually police, or that does actually enforce, this ordinance, to make sure that it's being handled, and, I just believe with you that, how we handle that, because I think, I've heard different arguments that, well, if you ticket the parents, then that's going to create another problem, and that, they're not going to be able to pay the fines and whatever. I just think that there's a way that it needs to be done, but I think that parents absolutely have to be involved in that.
Yes.
This is like I said earlier, this is our community problem. This is everybody's problem. It's not just the police. It's not just city officials. It's not just the organizers of some of these events. It is not their, it's all of our problem.
And
you gotta
I
know
don't
where your
think
kids
that
are.
Ticketing is the answer. Just because you could be a great parent and you can't control your kid sneaking out.
That's
I
right.
mean, a lot of people want to put these on parents, but there's amazing parents out there. Sometimes they decide to make their own decision, no matter how they were raised.
I agree.
And a lot of times the kids that are out, late, sometimes are from lower social economic backgrounds. And so we're going to ticket them or their parents, and then we're going to put even a further burden on it. And the whole thing for the citywide of Tulsa is something that we need to be proactive. So if we're just going to target that downtown area, right? crime that is okay. So they can't come downtown, but they can go over here. They can go over
Exactly.
there.
That's my point. So
you
you're
know what
going
I
to move
mean?
locations.
Yeah. And so that's
Yeah.
something that we have to be proactive about. And our task force can't, in my opinion, can't be I gotcha.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it need to be some teaching and some learning with that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Here are some resources for you. This is where you
Here's
should
some
go,
community
you know.
service
Right.
projects
Yeah.
that you're doing,
Right.
you know,
Right.
around the city, you know,
Right,
so we
yeah.
get you involved in something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I
I
was-
mean, instead of ticketing, if you're
Right.
out says that this is where you need to show up, this is what
Yeah.
you need to do. These are the things that we got ready for you to do within the community that ties you in more of the community, so you can have some ownership of this is my community, and I don't want to destroy it.
Exactly.
And I think for
love
me,
that.
I think it's a little tricky, and I guess
Mhm.
my mind is because I know like me and Tyson kids, we kind of know the same, but it's kind of like 16 is a lot of independency. People are getting
Yeah.
jobs and going
Mhm,
town and
mhm.
town.
Right.
People playing sports, football, basketball, volleyball,
Mhm.
track, cheerleading.
Mhm.
Kids are driving themselves. So I just think that it's a little tricky because it was such a isolated situation.
Mhm.
So now if our kids normally go to work and do all this, now we got to make adjustments when we do it right now. I think that's maybe larger than maybe the few that's out here doing this crazy stuff. So it's just kind of like we got to take a hammer to kill this fly with. And so that's that. And then if you do get caught, what happens? You know,
Right,
when
right,
your kid
right.
that's 16 that go to work that
Right.
never get in trouble,
Mhm.
and then how you monitor that.
And so
I
that's
just
what I'm
think it's
saying. Like we have to have
it's
some type
tricky.
of way to have discernment with that.
Mhm.
But when you do a whole task force, they don't have time to do discernment.
Yeah.
They're you get what I mean?
Right.
If their job is to get them ticketed and get them in juvenile, whatever the job is. So I think we all need
Now
further
I think
information.
and I
that.
think what helps with that is now if something jumps off, the
Mhm.
assumption is we're dealing with mainly grown people
Mhm.
and not youth.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now,
Mhm.
if it's a young man now that he's dating a girl, she
Mhm.
should be grown if she downtown at
Mhm.
11 at night,
Right.
Yeah.
walking down the
right.
street. So
Exactly.
now it may help them easier police. And then if you 15, 16, maybe you shouldn't have a little skirt
Right.
on downtown
Right.
Mhm.
at
Yeah.
11 at night or something like that. But we'll see what they do. That's what the
Yeah.
city is tasked with. But for
Mhm.
us,
But the shooters is in the early 20s.
that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
My point.
That's-
You know,
That's what I was
that's
talking
what we
about, the
need to
old
get.
heads.
'Cause,
Yeah,
They're still
yeah,
out there.
but I
Yeah.
still would say when you're just my things for me, it was be more like 16 to be honest. Because I think man at 16, for most time that's like being grown almost nowadays.
Mhm.
But the junior high kids just out everywhere, 12, 13,
Yeah.
14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm like, now y'all need to go and get to the house before it get
Mhm.
dark. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm
Right.
thinking 16 for me, it's kind of like you go to me, 16 to 25 is about the same.
Mhm.
Yeah,
These kids that
days,
did 16
right.
to
They
25 is
agree.
what is your maturity level?
Yes.
And if they could do it, which I know they can't, I wish that TPS and the school districts could say, here are the bad actors
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
do need to be in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
But the kids that are doing right can do what they need to do. But I know
Yeah.
we can't do that. But
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
the
that's-
perfect world,
Yeah.
Right.
then you got a list of people, but who got driving license to track all that? That would
Right.
be too big. So
Yeah, so I think that
Real
this is
remote.
an opportunity for community to go out, to share your thoughts
right.
about what you think could happen, and how we could do this, because ultimately it's going to affect us all.
Yeah.
Whatever ordinance is put on the books, it's going to affect every family within the Tulsa city
Yeah.
limits.
So show up
Yeah,
at the council meeting tonight.
Yes.
And we'll get into our Black History Trivia question
Black
to
History
see who gonna win
Trivia.
a shirt, a hat. Just don't get kissed with your hat on because we said earlier
That's
Wow.
cheating.
it might just fly off. And it's cheating. No, I'm just playing. Black
Love
History
it.
Trivia question.
Black History Trivia. Okay, here we go. What Southern all-black town was formed in 1887 by a former slave, Isaiah Montgomery, which is on the National Register for Historic Places, and in 2020 had a 96.8% African American majority population? Was it A, Mounds Bayou, Mississippi? Was it B, Princeville, North Carolina? Was it C, Boley, Oklahoma? Or was it D, Allensworth, California? Now it looks like Charles, Tyson, AJ, Judge Tanya Wilson, and Teresa said A. Yoli said B. Mom and Tamika said C. And I don't know if anybody else. Did you see anybody else?
Let's roll with it.
Let's roll with it. So if you said A, Mounds Bayou, you are absolutely correct.
And the only thing I went on is it said South.
South.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
South.
There's always a hint.
Right.
I always put
A
a
little
hint
hint.
in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I was between C. I like, damn, this is Boley. And
I missed
Yeah.
these Black History Facts 2 times in a row, so I got to get on.
Gotta come back next
Yeah,
week.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
come
yeah.
back next week.
I got to get on.
Yeah, gotta get on it.
And
that's what that's what they're intended to do, is for you to go back to do some research to kind of look and see, and just to kind of, study for yourself, to show you thyself approved.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. All right. So we're going to upcoming events. Are you
upcoming events first?
Nat is
And
driving
then
me
y'all
crazy.
get ready for the 3 nuggets for the people, because there's 1,000 people still on.
Okay, here we go. Upcoming events. So don't forget, every Sunday there is the Soul of Sunday with Corey D from 1:00 p.m. until 3:00 p.m. on NYCU.FM, where we play R&B and throwback hits, but on Sunday is the Lord's Day. All right. And then there is a call to action. Men of McLean Feeder Pattern are searching for men in our community who are interested in supporting the Men of McLean Feeder Pattern initiative. If you are interested, you can sign up at THOMAEL at tulsaschools.org, or you can call 918-833-8590. Again, that's 918-833, good Lord, 8590 in order to sign up for that program. There is also going to be, and these are last minute that I just pulled off, there's going to be a Stop Gun Violence here, Stop Gun Violence event that's going to be happening at Historic Vernon AME Church. It is a community rally and prayer vigil. It is happening tomorrow at 311 North Greenwood Avenue at 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We're going to hear from our mayor, Monroe Nichols, and elected officials. So, come out to that if you are interested in participating, or if you can participate. Like I said, this is a citywide problem. So we need everybody in community to be present at this event. There's also going to be an emergency community meeting on Tuesday, July 1st at 6:00 p.m. at the New Jerusalem Tulsa Church, located at 3427 North Birmingham Avenue. This is a community-centered response to the recent gun violence, including solutions, signups for resources, a summer campaign launch, and updates on ongoing actions. This is sponsored by the Terrence Crutcher Foundation. And then there's also going to be a boots on the ground prayer walk. This is going to happen under the Greenwood Bridge on Saturday, June 28th at 9:00 a.m. There's going to be a prayer. There's going to be anointing and activation, and they're going to do a walk. So they're asking you to bring your oil, bring your faith, your authority, and a ready heart.
Boots on the ground, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna go to Oasis Fresh Market are opening up a Simple Simon's pizza, wings, sandwiches, pizza, and their famous calzone. It's gonna be 7 days a week from 5 to 7 today. You come in and purchase a large pizza and buy one and get a free calzone. Only at Oasis. Welcome to Oasis.
Okay. All right. There is also going to be a meeting, Veterans Where They Are event that's going to happen on June 25th. It's from 12:00 p.m. until 6:00 p.m. at the VFW number 577, located at 1109 East 6th Street. For more information, contact Elgenia Goodson at elgenia.goodson@va.gov. The Neighborhood Festival has been rescheduled for August the 2nd. There'll be more information coming out, so stay tuned to our page. We'll be posting that here shortly. Jazz on the Green with Michael Fields Jr. is going to happen August the 9th at 6:00 p.m. at Guthrie Green. It's going to be featuring Andrea Lisa, Nathan Mitchell, Hank Bila, and our very own T. Rush. Let's hit these birthdays. So birthdays we have here today. Today's 25th?
It is.
Today, the 25th, Chantel Taylor.
Birthday
the
today?
Wife of Mr.
Happy
Corey
birthday,
D. Taylor.
Chantel.
Yes.
That's the team.
Soul of Sunday with Corey D. Tomorrow, Jessica Sanders has a birthday.
Happy birthday.
That is Lieutenant DeLauren Sanders' wife. So the wives are having birthdays this month.
Right.
All right. June 27th, Commissioner Currency Wilson is going to have a birthday.
Happy birthday.
June 28th, District 1 City Councilwoman Vanessa Hall Harper and her twin brother, Odester Hall, have a birthday.
That's right, twins. Happy birthday, y'all.
And then on June 30th, we have Chris McThorne of State Farm. He has a birthday as well. So don't forget, you can tune in to any of our social media platforms. That's World One Development, 36th Street North Event Center, EduRec Youth and Family Fun Center, Fitting Back in Prison Reentry, and NYCU.FM.
Great job, Damali. Okay, back to our superstar guests who just have set our show on fire today.
Yes.
People don't even want to leave. They just hanging out all day long.
Right.
Y'all can't stay with us forever. We're going to have to let them go.
That part.
But before we let them go, before I let go, boom,
Okay.
boom, boom. 3 tips for the people, man, if they dealing with relationships, single or married or anywhere in between. 3 tips when it comes down to relationships. Whatever you want to give the people.
Okay, I would say be yourself, and the right person to find you, right? The other thing I would say is don't change because you want someone to like you, because you can't keep that up in the first place.
That's right.
And then you done trick that person that you with.
Yeah.
Right?
No trickery.
You done put them in a whole trick basket,
No
right?
trickery.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Okay.
And the third thing I would say is communication. Right? You have to be able to communicate openly, and not the communication where you telling half. Because here's the thing: if you telling a half truth, you're telling a whole lie.
That part,
right?
Man.
So we got to be able to keep that communication going. Just my few opinion.
Oh, I would say number one, this is what we tell people in the barbershop, especially a lot of the men: build your kingdom first. So be that person, that guy, that girl. Be who you're supposed to be first. Find yourself in your field, your trade, and run. It's like going on a job. You're running and jogging, and you're doing your thing, and you'll look across, and somebody be jogging right alongside with you. That's how you find that person. They'll be living the way you want to live. And so sometimes we settle because we don't know who we are. So build it first. That's why it takes, you need to be 30-ish or whatever, right? And then the last thing is really understand who you are. And you got to go back to the maker. Like, who am I? What am I? He said, we're beautifully and wonderfully made. We're made in his image, and we have a purpose. Marriage has a purpose. Community has a purpose. And you have a purpose. So don't forget your purpose as an individual, because if you don't, you get married and you lose who you are. Or you never even find who you are. So be that person, that guy, that woman first. Have a community first. Then if you want to get married, then you consider that. Because your community is your covering. It helps you to make better decisions. Like, he crazy, but you won't admit it. But if you got your auntie, your uncle, your best friend telling you he crazy, that's your litmus test.
Yes.
You have that support. You know she's not right for you. You know she's a runner. You know she's not gonna stay, but you still something in you says, no, I'm gonna fix her. I'm gonna save her. We can't fix anybody.
You gotta come.
So Uncle Charles is gonna say, hey, you're a fool if you marry her. Right. You know, I had a family member do the same thing. Knew she was a runner. Did it anyway. Gone.
Yeah.
Sometimes we try to put a square in a circle. It don't work.
Don't work.
But we trying to fix it anyway, trying to make it work anyway. And we already know, but we determined to make it work.
That's right.
And I think that's why it fails. That's why God makes, you know what I mean? Where it's like, that's not the person I chose for you, but you still trying to make that work.
And what happens is that little square becomes tattered, bruised. You see it all chipped up, and you pull it out, and you got to go all this work to heal. And I did it. Married at 19, divorced 43, still didn't know. But when I got my community, they start to tell me who I was, what I look like. I got this book I'm writing. It's called "I Didn't Know I Was Stupid Until My Friend Told Me." We need people to tell us, "You stupid. That is dumb. That's not right." And so I'm working on this one. It's called I Didn't Know It Was Okay to Be Me. I didn't know how. And I got married again, still scared to do what I want to do. And not against the marriage vows or, compromise, what's right. But I just didn't know how to operate unless they were okay. I was still waiting to get permission just to
be you.
Go for a job.
All right.
Make me a burger.
Anything.
What do you want anybody to follow y'all on social media? Y'all got platforms, something coming up?
Follow me on Facebook. It's Tamika Rogers, TAMECCA ROGERS. On LinkedIn, it's Dr. Tamika Rogers. Put some respect on that. On LinkedIn.
Pal.
And then on Instagram, that's Dr. Tamika Rogers as well.
Yeah, mine is Tyson D. Thompson on Facebook. Tyson Speaks. Instagram, and I think it's Tyson Speaks 5, something like that. On
when the book
TikTok.
coming out?
You know what? I'm gonna be doing a series on it, so I'm building up following, right? Because it's a good book too.
Yeah.
I had a editor read it. He said it was phenomenal. Couldn't put it down. So it's gonna help people to really, balance things out.
Yeah. And real quick, I'm gonna say my nephew's birthday was yesterday. Jay, he over there in Germany.
Jay.
Also, Caden's birthday is the 27th.
Cadence, my niece.
One of my niece. Yep. And Judith Elliott, June 27th, the big 80.
Hey, Miss Judy gonna be 80.
Yeah. And
Happy
then Teresa said,
birthday.
"Come on, Tyson, preach."
Yeah.
I guess I'll give 2, and then Damali will give it to wrap this thing up to get out of here. Thank you to our special guests. Y'all hit a grand slam today. We appreciate it. I'll say for me, a couple tips. Believe who a person show you that they are the first time.
That's good.
Can I do that? That'll be
Yes.
first thing.
That's
Nothing
good.
that's single, man, whatever. Believe that the first time they show you who they are, you can't change that. That's just who they are. Number 1. Number 2, understand that you're marrying the entire family.
That's
you're not
right.
just marrying that person. Take time to know mama, daddy, uncle, cousin, grandma, and them, best friends, and all of that. Whatever you need to do, because when you marry this person, these are the people going to show up at your house at midnight. These are people that won't leave. These are people that's going to be borrowing money from y'all.
And
These
that
people need a
influence- and
ride.
the one that
These are the people that's going to influence your person the most. Those are my 2 things. Damali, what is your couple of things before we get off?
I think your relationship is your relationship.
Amen.
Period. So whatever works for y'all and y'all's relationship, it doesn't matter what other people think.
Right.
That's y'all's relationship, so you need to operate within that. And I think that you need to be true to whatever your agreement is about your relationship. So if our agreement is these are the boundary lines that we don't cross, then these are the boundary lines that we don't cross. It don't matter who comes in your pathway. We don't cross those boundary lines. Period. Point blank. That's it. Drop the mic.
Just like that. All right. To reach us here on the show for advertising, hosting, or marketing, promos, community engagement, or to appear live on our show, go to nyc.fm, fill out that form, and someone from our team will get in touch with you. Please go subscribe to nyc.fm to keep up with all of the latest. This has been News You Can Use. I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Charles Harper.
And I'm Damali Wilson.
And we are live every Wednesday from 1 p.m. until we get off the show. So make sure you tune in.
Oh, I forgot. I got to do this part now. Let me see. Okay, here we go. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this program belong solely to the host and their guests and not necessarily to this station, organization, committee, or other group or individual associated with KBOB 89.9.FM.
Just like that. See y'all later.